The palace walls are shaking again, and this time the whispers are not staying hidden behind royal gates. They are exploding across headlines, social media feeds, private circles, and royal gossip networks, with one question hanging over everything like a storm cloud nobody can escape. What exactly is being hidden about Archie and Lilibet, and why is Meghan reportedly losing control as the pressure keeps building?
I have spoken to doctors, nurses, many women who've given birth to children, and all of them say the same thing. Those photographs of Meghan and the way the baby bump performed are totally unexpected, and they're not aware of any baby, any pregnant woman who is genuinely pregnant having her bump perform the way Meghan's has performed.
The timing feels dangerous, almost suspiciously dangerous, because just when the royal family was already drowning in tension, Lady C suddenly stepped forward with claims so explosive that people immediately stopped what they were doing and started paying attention. Not casually, obsessively. The kind of obsession that happens when the public senses there may be something deeper beneath the polished statements and carefully managed appearances. And the reaction? That may be the loudest clue of all, because instead of these rumors quietly disappearing, every denial, every emotional response, every public silence seems to make the entire situation grow bigger, louder, and far more chaotic. People inside royal circles are now hinting that this controversy goes beyond random internet gossip. They are suggesting there are inconsistencies that simply refuse to disappear. Tiny details, strange timelines, odd visual contradictions, little things that by themselves might mean nothing, but together they are creating an atmosphere that feels impossible to ignore. That is exactly why this conversation keeps escalating instead of fading away. Every new question seems to unlock 10 more. Every attempt to calm the fire somehow throws gasoline directly onto it.
New question marks over the veracity of Princess Lilibet's birth certificate, and it also raises serious concerns about whether Meghan Markle has been honest with the public about her daughter's birth.
Now the entire spotlight has shifted toward documents, numbers, records, technical details most people would normally never notice. But suddenly those details are being treated like explosive evidence in the middle of a royal mystery. And the internet is dissecting everything frame by frame like detectives trying to solve a crime hidden in plain sight. The biggest shockwave right now surrounds Princess Lilibet's birth certificate. Not because anyone has proven wrongdoing, nothing official has changed, but because online investigators started focusing on one specific code attached to the document, and what they discovered instantly triggered a frenzy. According to people studying the paperwork, the first digits are supposedly connected to the location where the birth occurred. Sounds simple enough until the numbers reportedly stopped matching what people expected.
I want you to pay attention to this number right here. The 105-202, the 105-2021, 163-206. That number is incredibly important. This is directly from the government's website, guys. And this is reviewing a birth certificate, birth area code. Okay? And then it tells you what it is. It's the first three digits. You remember the 105 that you saw? Is the birth area code. It tells you in which state the child was born. We have seen that in Lilibet's birth certificate. It states that her number is 105. So surely that is California, right? It turns out that California is 104. And let's not forget that Archie is 6th in line to the throne and Lilibet is 7th in line to the throne.
That is when the panic started spreading online. Because if California's public code is allegedly listed differently, why would another number appear instead? Suddenly, the internet exploded into theories. Was it an administrative error? A clerical mistake? Or something far bigger hiding underneath layers of royal secrecy? That uncertainty became fuel for non-stop speculation. And once speculation enters royal territory, especially involving children connected to the line of succession, it transforms into something uncontrollable. People are now combing through every old interview Meghan and Harry ever gave about Lilibet's birth, every hospital reference, every timeline detail, every emotional story they shared publicly. And critics are comparing those statements against the document codes like investigators building a giant conspiracy board. The more they compare, the more suspicious they claim things begin to look. And suddenly, what once sounded like a private family matter is now being discussed like an international controversy.
Even if you put the questions of whether Meghan actually bore these children to one side, Harry has now admitted on the record that he will not allow them ever to come to the United Kingdom. Well, some royal families would not allow young princes or princesses to be in the line of succession if they were not educated in the country of which one day they might serve.
What makes this even messier is how divided the public has become. One side believes the entire thing is ridiculous, that bureaucratic paperwork errors happen constantly and people are turning harmless inconsistencies into a fantasy scandal. But the other side, they believe the contradictions are piling up too fast to ignore. They are asking why every explanation somehow creates even more confusion instead of clarity. And then came the Colorado theory. The moment people connected that mysterious code to another state entirely, the situation exploded into full chaos. Because if the code truly points somewhere outside California, then critics argue it directly clashes with the carefully crafted public narrative Meghan and Harry already presented to the world. Suddenly, social media was flooded with people asking whether key details were intentionally hidden from the public all along. The conversation became even darker when attention turned toward the doctor reportedly connected to the birth. The fact that the medical professional later stepped away from practice became another clue for internet detectives already convinced something unusual happened behind closed doors. Again, no verified evidence proves wrongdoing. But in the world of royal gossip, unanswered questions are enough to create a hurricane. Now the debate is spiraling far beyond paperwork. It has moved into dangerous territory involving transparency, legitimacy, royal protocol, and public trust. Critics are openly claiming there is less public verification surrounding Archie and Lilibet compared to previous royal children. And because the children remain in the line of succession, people argue the stakes are suddenly much higher than ordinary celebrity gossip. Then came the photo controversies. And this is where things became emotionally explosive. Online commentators started obsessing over changing appearances in photographs, hair color differences, facial inconsistencies, varying heights, different body language. Some critics claim, and through all of this, Meghan's image remains trapped at the center of the storm. Critics describe her as highly strategic, calculated, someone who understands exactly how media attention works and how emotional narratives shape public opinion. Supporters call that misogynistic nonsense designed to demonize a woman who simply refuses to play by royal rules. But regardless of which side people choose, one thing is undeniable: Meghan's every move now gets analyzed like political strategy instead of ordinary family behavior. Meanwhile, Harry's silence is becoming its own source of suspicion, because years ago he passionately warned about media intrusion destroying lives. He spoke emotionally about protecting children from public obsession after losing his mother, Princess Diana. Yet now, critics accuse Meghan of pushing the children further into public visibility despite Harry's supposed fears. That contradiction alone has become another major battleground in the growing royal war. And hanging over everything is the terrifying reality nobody wants to say out loud. This is no longer just gossip. This is becoming a debate about the monarchy itself, about succession, about trust, about whether royal traditions still mean anything in a modern world flooded with social media manipulation, viral narratives, and nonstop public suspicion. What is making this situation feel even more dangerous is that the arguments are no longer staying limited to gossip channels and royal commentators. The debate is starting to creep into conversations about constitutional issues, succession laws, royal legitimacy, and the future stability of the monarchy itself. And once a royal royal controversy reaches that level, it stops being harmless celebrity drama and starts feeling like a pressure point capable of shaking institutions people once believed were untouchable. Now people are openly discussing something that once would have sounded completely unthinkable. They are asking whether the royal family has created a massive vacuum of information by keeping Archie and Lilibet so hidden from public view. Critics argue that the secrecy itself has become the real problem because in the absence of transparency, speculation multiplies uncontrollably. Every blurry image becomes suspicious. Every inconsistent detail becomes evidence. Every silence becomes interpreted as strategic. And the longer that atmosphere continues, the harder it becomes for the palace to regain control of the narrative. Then came the discussion about royal titles and public image, and suddenly the conversation exploded into another level entirely. Critics accused Meghan and Harry of using royal branding while simultaneously attacking the institution that gave those titles meaning in the first place. That contradiction has become one of the biggest flashpoints in the entire royal feud. Some believe the couple wants all the privilege of royal association without any of the restrictions or responsibilities that traditionally came with it. Others argue they were forced into creating independent lives after being pushed out by a cold and outdated system. But once again, every argument only deepens the divide. The situation became even more explosive when commentators began dragging Prince William and King Charles into the controversy. According to royal insiders and media speculation, King Charles allegedly prefers avoiding direct confrontation and wants to prevent further damage to the monarchy's public image. King Charles III, but people are increasingly whispering that Prince William may see things very differently. Prince William, the rumor growing louder behind palace walls is that William allegedly believes firmer boundaries and stricter accountability are necessary if the monarchy is going to survive future scandals. Whether that is true or not, the perception alone is feeding non-stop intrigue because it paints a picture of a divided royal strategy unfolding quietly behind closed doors. And then the focus shifted again, this time toward the children themselves. Critics online started analyzing voice clips, photographs, and videos with obsessive intensity. They questioned whether the children's appearances seemed consistent. They compared accents, expressions, body types, even hair shades from one image to another as though they were examining evidence in a criminal investigation. Some people argued the children did not resemble either Meghan or Harry strongly enough. Others fired back, saying genetics are unpredictable and the entire conversation had become deeply invasive and disturbing. But that did not stop the internet from spiraling deeper into chaos. One particularly emotional argument focused on legacy. Supporters of King Charles pointed toward decades of charitable work through what is now known as the King's Trust, arguing his public impact extends far beyond private family drama. The King's Trust, they insist, reducing his reign to one family feud, ignores years of service, philanthropy, and support for disadvantaged communities. But critics counter that the royal family's inability to maintain internal unity continues overshadowing everything else, creating a public relations nightmare that refuses to disappear. Meanwhile, Meghan herself remains the lightning rod at the center of the storm. Some commentators portray her as extraordinarily intelligent, media-savvy, and relentlessly strategic, a woman who allegedly calculates every public move with precision. Others insist she is simply being scapegoated by a system desperate to protect itself from criticism. But regardless of which version people believe, one reality remains impossible to deny: Meghan has become one of the most polarizing figures the monarchy has faced in decades. Meghan Markle, and the stronger the criticism grows, the more fiercely her supporters defend her, creating a cycle of endless public warfare. The truly unsettling part is how this entire controversy now feels trapped in permanent escalation mode. Every week another clip resurfaces, another document gets analyzed, another unnamed insider speaks, another commentator claims there are hidden truths still waiting to emerge. And because so much of the conversation exists in the gray zone between rumor, speculation, interpretation, and partial facts, nobody can fully shut it down. The uncertainty itself has become addictive to the public. What started as whispers about inconsistencies has evolved into a sprawling debate touching succession, media manipulation, royal secrecy, public trust, celebrity branding, institutional survival, and the future image of the monarchy in the digital age. And maybe that is why this scandal feels so impossible to escape. It is no longer just about Archie or Lilibet. It is no longer just about Meghan and Harry. It has transformed into something much larger, a battle over who controls the truth, who shapes the public narrative, and whether the monarchy can still command unquestioned trust in a world where every detail gets dissected by millions in real time. And the most unsettling part of all, despite the endless headlines, headlines, emotional interviews, online investigations, and nonstop speculation, there are still no clear answers that satisfy everyone. Only more theories, more division, more suspicion, more silence, which is exactly why people believe this story is nowhere near finished. Because every time the chaos appears ready to fade, another strange detail suddenly appears out of nowhere and drags the entire royal drama right back into the spotlight again.